Addiction and addiction to systems in particular, yeah, that can be a rough one. So the best description of an addict that I ever read, and forgive me because I cannot remember where I got this, I think it was a fictional book actually, but it described an addict as somebody that couldn't let go of their idea of how life should be and accept how life actually is. And that right there is a dangerous thing. That's going to lead to violence pretty quick, whether that's turned inwardly against yourself or outwardly against the world or a bit of both. I mean, that's where you go in with that kind of blinkered thinking. It's easily done. If you are searching for a reason, a way, whatever, you're a bit lost like an awful lot of us are or have been at some point in time, then you're going to be trying everything under the sun possible. And, you might strike gold on occasion in that your behaviour at that particular moment actually gave you some pleasure, lifted it out of where you were, opened your mind up, etc., etc., etc. Now, whether that is a behaviour, whether that was having a drink with your friends or, maybe something more illicit, or whether that was that you came across a piece of literature that suddenly resonated with you and you clicked onto it, okay? So, in that particular moment in time, that was exactly the right thing for you. But, as I said, you cannot put life in a box. Life moves on, it's ever evolving, ever changing, and there are that many intangibles out there in any given situation, in any aspect of life. You need to be flowing, basically. You need to be in the moment and recognising what's in front of you. And yeah, refer to your system, refer to your map all the time. That's what it's there for. It's vital that you have that. But at the same point in time, always be applying yourself in the moment. And that sort of aspect, how do we do that? We'll come on to in a moment. I mean, once you've reached a level of mastery with the basic mechanics of any given system, whether that's a physical system, we're talking about the techniques of martial art, whether that's a psychological system, and you're talking about, recognising what's going on with you internally and, behaving appropriately, either in spite of what's happening inside or correcting what's happening inside so that the problem doesn't even occur. That'd be like the mechanics of the system. Then there's the actual application at the time. That's where the individual expression comes in. That's where you start to cross over from science to art. And, we'll come back to that in a minute, but going back to the addictions to systems, it's like you keep playing like a stuck record. If you keep blindly repeating the same behaviour, in a hope to sort of reenact past glories, and you see this competitively in martial arts with fighters that have a particular technique that they've had a lot of success with, and you see them falling back on this technique when they're in trouble in bouts in different times in the future, and it's just not working. But instead of recognising in the moment that particular technique, no matter how appropriate it was for you at that time, no matter how much success you've had with it in the past, that isn't what's needed in the present moment. People just sort of go back, like I say, robotically to what has worked before, and they cling to it with varying degrees of intensity, and it's completely understandable. The whole mechanic is completely understandable. At the end of the day, people really like straight lines. They want to put everything in a box, but that's not the nature of the life, the universe, the existence that we are in. Dan Millman, who did all the Peaceful Warrior books, he had a really cool saying. He said the only constants in life are paradox, humour and change, which is a really nice way of looking at it. But the fact being that, like I said, no system holds all the answers. It's impossible. There might be an awful lot of truth, an awful lot of quality, and an awful lot of value in your system. I hope there is, right? But at the same point in time, it cannot possibly encompass all of the possible tangible experiences in your given field with inside of the written word and knowledge alone.